My name is Cheyenne Sun Thunder. I'm the host of Small World Radio. Although I don't admit this much, technically I'm a child. On January 21st, in 2010, the Supreme Court declared that Monsanto, along with all other corporations, were technically people, meaning that Monsanto too was once a child. His parents had high hopes, as his name implies, my holy. Monsanto was born in 1901 with a disorder revealing abnormal and violent social behavior. As a child, boy Santo began to make creations that copied the natural world. The baby Monsanto first created saccharin by combining acids, sulfur dioxide, chlorine, and ammonia. Monsanto's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Stockholder, immediately sold his creations to the American public and made millions, while laboratory animals were at the same time dying of the tumors from the saccharin, which didn't bother the boy in the least. A child like this would be a major problem in my school. As a teenager, Monsanto was given a license to kill over 200,000 men, women, and children by the U.S. military when he helped create the atomic bomb. The young holy really enjoyed this kind of work and refined the radioactive war machine until just a few years ago. He helped spread nuclear weapons and radioactive contamination all over the world. After World War II, Monsanto turned his twisted mind to making chemicals, especially chemicals to both grow and destroy vegetation. Monsanto's own diary admits he knew that his chemicals could deform or even kill humans, but that didn't stop him or the United States from using it on millions of Vietnamese men, women, and kids in the U.S. Army. Over 500,000 Vietnamese children have been born deformed by Monsanto's product, Agent Orange. Some of the other horrible creations created by this person known as Monsanto are still used today in much of our food supply, while Monsanto's parents and close relatives continue to bury the evidence, falsify test results, pay off politicians, and control courts like the one that breathed life into it. As both boy and Monsanto, he was a sneak. He perfected sneaking his demented products into even our baby food. By now, everyone knows his sick mind is inside most every bag and box in our grocery stores. I never really dissected a frog in school before, but Monsanto not only did that, but also figured out how to change male frogs into female frogs with one of his chemicals creations, and somehow convinced Americans that it was okay and to put the chemical in water all over this country. In case you didn't know, the chemical is atrazine, and the product is Roundup. Monsanto amazingly peed and pooed over 37 million toxic pounds of his self into land, air, and water, leading to some gigantic lawsuits and countless sick humans and animals. Since he was 28 years old and still today, the law-escaping genius Monsanto has toxified our world with his creation, one of the deadliest threats known, PCBs. And this criminal mind knew that 50% of animals tested with PCBs has died in his laboratories. Think about it. If you were an animal, wouldn't you claw and tear through every corporate citizen just to get to this guy, Monsanto? In 1997, farmers in India began to commit suicide because of the way Monsanto treated them. Let me explain. Monsanto would get farmers who mostly couldn't read or write to sign a contract that said they had to use only their seed for years and not replant the seed that the farmer grew. They had to go back and buy new seed each year. The contract also forced them to poison their ancestral lands with pesticides they had to buy from Monsanto. They fell deeper and deeper into debt to Monsanto. Then, to make sure they didn't plant the seed on their own, Monsanto created the suicide seed that not only killed itself after one generation, it began to spread to the farmer. Because of the despair Monsanto put them in, nearly 300,000 fathers and farmers committed suicide. Suicide over a suicide seed. Today, Monsanto continues to escape true law enforcement. If we were to compare Monsanto to other men, they would be Adolf Hitler, Napoleon, Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, Sauron, and let's face it, Satan.
Yeah! Maya, were you going to speak, Maya?